Yo guys, what up? Nick Browen here, coming at you with another RWBY discussion video. And I apologize for not uploading these as of late. I was setting some things up and getting some things settled down, and I'm all done with it, and now I can get back into my normal schedule with reactions, RWBY discussions, anime discussions, and so on and so forth. Now, getting back into the video. This video is about one of the characters I'm most intrigued by and want to learn more about. That is the sister to Crow Browen, the mother to Yang Xiaolong, and that would be the very supposed bitch mom, Raven Browen. Now, Raven Browen, this video isn't really discussing, in-depthly of what her abilities are or anything like that. It's more like the Adam Taurus video, like what happened to her to make her the way she is. I don't believe she is this angry and this bitter towards everything just for the sake of being bitter and angry towards everything. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Getting back into this, now I'm going to be going over certain phases that I've written down that I think could be the cause of why Raven is who she is, and why, she kind of has this mentality, the strong live and the weak die, and all that crap. So without further ado, guys, without any more foreplay, let's get into this character analysis of Raven Browen. Who is she really? I think Raven and Crow both were not a fan of the tribe's rules originally. I honestly do not think Raven started off as this mean, bitchy kind of person that we see presented in the show. I think she might have even protested against the tribe's methods of, all this domination kind of crap. And keep in mind, this is merely speculation of what the tribe was when Crow and Raven was in it and how they still are. This is not absolute, so just keep that in mind. I think the tribe is very much a power-driven tribe, as in they are primarily about power and, dominating the weak and, just trying to survive out in the world with that concept of only the strong live and the weak die in their heads. Now, getting back into the point that Crow and Raven tried to protest against the tribe's ways of doing things, I think the tribe turned them down, and they just continued on with the tribe's teachings for the time being. And what happened is they just got sick and tired of it, the senseless killing, the marauding, and the just pillaging and whatnot. That Crow and Raven both left the tribe and wanted to just see what else the world has to offer other than the tribe. Eventually, they made their way to Beacon, or somehow met Ozpin, and they thought this could be a good way to, give back to the world and help other people survive, and just help people in need in general. So, it's pretty much like the same kind of beginning in RWBY Volume 1. They take the initial test to get into Beacon, then they take the test to pair up with teams. And that is when Crow and Raven meet Ty and Summer. Now this is where everything kind of shape Raven's character for the good that will eventually, fall back down to the bad. So I believe Raven and Summer during the team test to decide what teams are which, I believe Summer and Raven are I believe Raven and Summer Rose were both very close, and they got close, almost like a sisterly type of bond. And after the test, the team test, and they found out they were on a team together with Crow and Tai Yang, I think that bond grew even more. And Raven became kind of protective over Summer. Like, she never really had a sister figure. She always just had a brother figure, that being Crow. Now she has Summer, who is like the sister figure she never had. another woman who she can confide in and kind of relate to and understand with each other, you know? They lived a normal school life for the most part, you know, making meaningful connections with their fellow students at Beacon, and you know, just having normal school life, you know, pranking each other, hanging out with friends, and you know, just having an all-around kind of good experience for the most part. They grew closer as a team, that being Crow, Raven, Ty, and Summer. And they grew closer, and they became one of the best teams at Beacon in their time. And then the day of graduation finally came upon them. And Ozpin wanted that team specifically, Team Stark, which is Summer, Ty, Raven, and Crow, to go on a mission for him. And I think they had this arrogant, not really arrogant, but extremely overconfident mindset that they could tackle literally anything. And that is eventually what led to Team Stark's downfall. Now, according to Ty, it was Raven's fault why the team kind of split up. However, I have a different kind of thought in mind, so that's what I'm going to go with. Now, Ozpin sent them on this mission that was extraordinarily dangerous, maybe a little bit more dangerous than Ozpin had originally anticipated. And they found themselves swarming they found themselves in, you know, the world of Remnant being swarmed around by many Grimm, from the most dangerous kind, like the Knuckle Cleave Grimm, or the Dragon Grimm, like the big dangerous ones, and like the little not really that dangerous ones like the Urza and the Beowulfs. And they just found themselves severely outnumbered and severely outmatched. And eventually, while they were, you know, holding off their own hordes of Grimm, Summer then falls, and they all are there to witness it. So Summer dies, they all witness it, and now they're working together to just get out alive and survive. And they eventually made their way out, and they could successfully flee and get to safety. And I believe Raven held Summer in her arms, because as we previously said, Raven and Summer had a sisterly bond, or in my mind, you know, they had a sisterly bond, and Raven very much cared for Raven. Raven pretty much cared for Summer. And I think now this doesn't really change anything, but there was two things that happened. Ravens killed Summer to stop her pain and suffering as a form of mercy killing. Or B, which I think would be more compelling, Raven was so helpless and out of power that Raven passed out in her arms, and she just didn't know what to do. She felt helpless and hopeless, powerless. Eventually, they made their way back to Beacon, and hence her new mentality sat in, where I was too weak to save Summer. I was too weak to be there for my team. Only the weak die, and the strong live. And she saw herself as a weak person, and inside, that Raven that was happy, that was kind of like a sisterly kind of person, loving and caring, eventually died. And hence what she said in Volume 4. I told you Ozpin would fail, and he has. I told you Beacon would fall, and it has. And does that really excuse her from being a horrible mother? It does not. However, it makes her a more realistic, relatable character, and a more compelling character who has changed for the worse. So I think that is what happened to Raven. You know, maybe Ty wasn't there because the timeline is off. If they had kids, maybe Crow wasn't there. If Ruby and Yang was born, maybe Ruby and Yang was with Ty or Crow at the time. But at least 3 members of Team Stark was there to witness two members of Team Stark was there to witness Summer's death and then relay the message to the fourth team member of Team Stark. And nonetheless, whether the timeline is there or not with the children being involved, that being RWBY and Yang, the team could have just been split up and one staying at the house with RWBY and Yang. So, I mean, the timeline doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that Raven wasn't there and that she took off after Summer's death. So, that's what I believe happened to Summer. Like I said, that may not be what happened, but I think it's really compelling, and I think it's very realistic for a character to turn for the worse in that manner. And that is what happened to Raven to make her so bitter and so angry towards everything and everyone. That Summer died. One of the few people who understood her and she had a close bond with died in her arms. Either way you look at it, whether she killed her out of mercy or not, she nonetheless died in Raven's arms. And that kind of reverted Raven's mindset back into the tribe's mindset. She saw herself as a weak person who couldn't save a person that she deeply cared about, and now she's back with the tribe and trying to become stronger and trying to survive on her own with the tribe. And that just the mere thought that someone she cared about died would be enough for someone like that to revert to that kind of mindset of I wasn't strong enough to save her, therefore I was weak and I couldn't do anything. I need to become stronger and I need to survive. I need to help my tribe survive. And that is who Raven Brolin really is, in my personal opinion. Now, could this change? Could something change? Of course it could. It has not, that side of Raven, Crow's, and Team Stark's life has not been introduced yet. So by all means, I could be wrong, but I think that is a very compelling reason for Raven being the way she is. She lost someone dear to her. The sweet life she knew is no longer there. The power she once had wasn't there in that moment, and she just felt helpless, weak, and powerless. And now she turned for the worse. And it truly shows you how dangerous the world of Remnant is, and how it can change people for the worse. Kind of like Adam Torres. Like I said in that video, I believe he was the innocent kid doing what he believed, and something just broke within him when he saw his species being treated the way they were being treated. The same kind of thing is happening to Raven. She lost someone close to her, and that made her snap and turn into this very angry and bitter person that seemingly does not trust literally anyone that is on Ozpin's side at all. If you guys agree with me, write it in the comments. If you disagree with me, put it down in the comments. And as always, you guys, if you like this video, rate it 1 through 10. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that fun crap. And as always, you guys, this is Nick Brolin, out with the Yang.